SuperTalk Mississippi media production. Pike County, here comes your morning show. Dave in the morning on 93.5 FM, SuperTalk Mississippi.
So now, understand, you're not going to dictate to me what I do and what I don't do, but I'm still the mayor, Mr. Brown.
None of this meeting is recorded. None by any parties. Correct?
No, sir, mine is recorded. I'm being accused.
Any conversation.
Said I want to make it on record. I want the allegations in writing, or the accused, or on recording of this harassment.
And now, here's your host, Dave Hughes.
Good morning to you. How you doing? How's life treating you on a Wednesday morning? Halfway through yet another week. And now officially less than 2 weeks until the election. You know, I've been talking around. I've been doing an informal survey, I guess you would call it. And it has become obvious that even the people that are excited for the election are just ready for it to be here and be done. It's kind of like, and I keep comparing it to a kid at Christmas. It's kind of like being, 7 years old and you wake up and you're so excited. Christmas is almost here. And then mom informs you, honey, it's December 23rd. You've got a couple of days to wait. That is the longest time period of your entire life when mom tells you that. And you realize, wait. So Santa isn't even coming tonight? No. You got today, you got tomorrow, then we'll see what happens. That's a lot of time to wreck your good status. So be on your best behavior. We're kind of in that zone right now. And again, I knew that I felt that way. I knew that my closest friends and family felt that way. And then I started asking around other people just at random and listening to conversations in the store and other places. But yes, that's eavesdropping. What? Don't talk so loud if it's a problem. And this seems to be a very common feeling right now, and I get it. We've been hearing about this election for 2 years, which, by the way, just want to make sure you're aware, that means we're only about 2 years away from hearing about the next election. So enjoy it while you got it, right? The polling keeps coming out. This is dangerous to me. It keeps looking good for Donald Trump. Now, it depends on where you get your polling data. It doesn't matter what you believe is going to happen on November 5th. There is a poll somewhere being reported by an outlet somewhere that will back you up and make you feel like you've got this figured out. But the information on the ground, the early voting data, everything that's coming in is leaning hard towards the Republicans. We have seen a surge of Republican early voting all around the country, which is a good sign. That shows an energized base. So there are a lot of good signs, or a lot of good tea leaves in the cup that we can read and go, oh, well, this might be a good night. This is kind of looking like a good night. That doesn't make it any easier to wait the 2 weeks until it gets here. If you're worried to death about it, it doesn't make it any easier. There is no option in terms of what you're expecting that makes you go, 2 weeks. I wish it could be longer. No. Everyone's done. This goes back to what you and I have talked about many times. We have got to figure out a way to get a break from campaigning. It is, like the old expression goes, how can I miss you if you never go away? Talking to you, yard signs. It's a continuous, nonstop process. Now, wasn't that way not too terribly long ago, but now it never ends. So the fatigue becomes real, and you reach that little burnout stage. But that's okay. That's what separates the winners from the losers. When you reach that stage, and everyone does, Richard could tell you, he is the most knowledgeable person I know personally about sports. He could tell you that's what separates the winners from the losers. When you reach that point where you're exhausted, you just you've had enough, you're burnt out, you just you can't lift another foot and put it in front of the second one. You just can't do it. The winners are the ones that keep going. So we have to keep going. We have to keep focused. We have to keep our attention directed solely at the goal, the finish line, which is November 5th, making sure ballots are cast, and then reaching the finish line of Donald Trump being declared the winner. Don't know when that's going to be. That's part of the problem. We're going to have bonus waiting time, it's starting to look like. It doesn't matter, and that does not say anything about the entire too big to rig movement at all. It's still going to take time. It's not necessarily a sign of something bad. It's a sign of, well, I'm going to be charitable and say it's a sign of poor organization and stupidity in some states. We're not going to have a problem. My friend Michael Watson does a great job as Secretary of State. We're just going to tick right along like a well-oiled machine, as we always do. There are plenty of other states that are just going to breeze right through this process. There are some, I'm looking at you, Georgia, that are going to drag this out. One report I saw this morning said that it could be anywhere from 10 to 13 days before they have the official results from Georgia. That's not acceptable. There's no excuse for that. None. When there are 50 states voting and 49 of them have been done for a week and you're still counting, I think by definition you're up to something then. So this is still going to be a process. No matter what, we need to set our expectations and be ready for it. But right now it is looking good. It's leaning in the right direction. Will it stay that way? No, I hope so. A lot of that is under the control of all of us. But I'm still, like I was talking with Rhino yesterday, I'm still waiting to see what the October surprise is going to be. I don't feel that we've really had one yet from either direction. This could be the year we get them from both directions. That would not be surprising at all. We still have reports around the Pike County area of people having their vehicles broken into. This is not new. It's not good, obviously, but it's not new. Seen a couple of reports, 2 different people reporting that they had their gun stolen out of their vehicle. I'm going to ask a hypothetical question because I've come right out and told you stop leaving your gun in your vehicle. But that's not doing any good because some people are so smart. They're also now weaponless, but they're smart. Why listen to that doofus on the radio? What does he know? So let's try this with a metaphor in a different way. You're in a group of people. We'll call them Pike Countyans. You're in a group of people, and you look around and you're watching, and every day, every 2 days, every 5 days, however often it is, you see that one of them has stuck their hand into an open campfire and got burned real bad. Now, why would you stick your hand in an open campfire after you've been watching everybody else get burned? I don't care. Well, I live in a secure area. No such thing on planet Earth. I live out in the country, Dave. That doesn't affect me. Well, I hope you have a backup gun that you keep somewhere safe because sooner or later, the one in your vehicle that you're leaving there with that cocky attitude will be stolen. I know that because it happens all the time. Every couple of days, we get another report of this. Don't leave your gun or any valuables in your car or your truck or your van or strapped to the side of your ATV or whatever, because there are knuckleheads all over the place that are trolling, looking for something they can get. I mean, it's bad enough if you leave your vehicle unlocked at night because that's literally an open door for someone up to no good. But regardless, whether you're going to lock your door or not, don't leave a firearm in a vehicle unattended. Period. There are no exceptions. There are no differences to that rule. You're not special in that way where no one's going to bother you. Everybody else is getting robbed, but you'll be fine. No. Oh, that's good. Real clear politics. This is what I'm talking about. And you go to NBC News and they'll tell you that Kamala Harris is up by 3 points. Ronnie just sent me Real Clear Politics. If they eliminate toss-up states and pick them in the way they're leaning right now, they've got Trump winning 312 electoral votes, Harris 226. That sounds reasonable. That sounds like a likely outcome. Right about in that range. I've seen people declaring this is going to be the biggest electoral landslide in history. I don't see that. I've also seen people declaring that Kamala Harris is going to get 400 electoral. No, that's not happening. Come on. Not a chance. That's people shilling for the home team is all that is. 312 to 226, that sounds about right. That sounds right in the zone of where you would expect things to settle out here. But again, whatever you think, you can find a poll to back up your opinion. Which once again proves we have had this rubbed in our face for several elections now, especially the last two. Polling has become worthless. People don't answer it, or they don't answer it truthfully. And the polling methodologies are outdated. You know, it wasn't that long ago they finally started calling cell phones. They were just polling people that had a landline. I don't know that I even know anyone that still has a landline. So, a little bit of an adjustment that they've had to make there, but still, there's a whole bunch of people that don't talk about who they're going to vote for, and good for them. I don't see a problem with that attitude one bit. It's nobody else's business. That has been a change to the political scene in America that has not been good for anyone. It's your vote. It's your business. But the problem comes in because if you're going to subscribe to that theory, the same thing applies to everybody else around you. It's their vote. It's none of your business. And that's not going to work. Come on. Minding everybody else's business has become the new American pastime. Baseball's in second. When we come back, we had a teeny tiny little meeting of the McComb City Board of Mayor and Selectmen last night, and then a big beefy executive session afterwards. Nothing really came out of the executive session, but there was something neat in the board meeting that I want to make sure we spread the word on, and we'll do that right after this. Keep it here.
Hey, this is Kristen with Selman's coming to you with Trivia of the Week. Last week's question was, what percentage of gold is in 14 karat gold jewelry? The answer, 58.5% gold. Gold is at an all-time high right now, so come stop by if you've got any laying around that you'd like to cash in and we will buy it. This week's question is, what is the name of a square-cut gemstone or diamond? This trivia brought to you by Selman's, 1311 Delaware Avenue, McComb.
Don't miss Dave in the morning, even when you miss it the first time. You can catch it on the podcast, missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Wanna get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com, it's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have a break. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com, it's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon or Apple, or just right there on the page.
North Pike football is back. It's another exciting season of North Pike Jaguar football on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Toyota of Brookhaven, Ag Up, Exhaust Pro, Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center, Peterbilt of McComb, and Lot Furniture. It's North Pike Jaguar football on the air at 93.5 FM. Available online at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com and through your Alexa devices.
I'm alright, nobody but about me. Why you got to give me a fight? Can't you just let it be? I'm alright, don't nobody but about me. You got to give me a fight. Why don't you just let me be? Do what you like, do it naturally. But if it's too
welcome back, Super Talk, Mississippi Pike County, 93.5. A beautiful Wednesday morning. The weather forecast remains, well, it remains flammable. The 7-day forecast, clear skies at night, sunny during the day, not even a cloud, much less rain. So again, settle into that burn ban. It's not going anywhere anytime soon. We are warming back up. We're going to get up close to 90 tomorrow, 88 for a high temperature. Then we'll cool back off a little bit by the end of the weekend. Not enough. That little burst of cool weather was so nice. Oh, that was so nice. Hope you didn't get too used to it because, well, it may be a minute before it comes back. There's nothing that says Halloween like a small child with their plastic Halloween costume sticking to their sweaty skin. Or maybe that's just a memory I have. Either way, It's a distinct possibility this time around. All right, last night, again, very short meeting. Pleasantly short. As in, after they got past the opening remarks and the opening prayer, the meeting itself was about 17 minutes long. Total. I mean, seriously, it was next item up. Any discussion? No. All in favor? Everybody says aye. We move on to the next one. It was bam, 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 bam. The one area, the one item where they did spend a little bit of time, needed a little bit of time because it's very good. As you know, our longtime fire chief, I'm going to call him beloved because that will annoy Gary. Our beloved fire chief, Gary McKenzie, is retiring. That means some changes in the fire department, and one of them was on the agenda last night at the meeting, and here's how it went.
Number 13, consider promoting Captain David Fisher as the City of McComb Deputy Fire Chief effective November the 1st, 2024. Can I get a motion and second?
So moved.
Select Woman Bayless.
Second.
Select Woman Isaac. Chief McKenzie, would you please come to the podium?
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening. Chief, has he met all the requirements for civil service?
Yes, sir, he has.
Okay, and this is your recommendation also?
It is.
Okay.
He was the most qualified applicant, and I asked Mr. Myers to take a look at all of the applicants as well, and we concur.
You concur. Mr. Myers, you feel comfortable with this recommendation of Mr. Fisher?
I do.
Okay. Okay. Is Mr. Fisher here?
He is.
Would you ask him to come up, please?
Okay, number one, excellent choice. You would expect no less from Chief McKenzie, but excellent choice. And you heard the city administrator agreed. The mayor, once he figured out pronunciation of some words there, seems kind of happy about it. Very much in the mode, and you're about to see what I'm talking about, very much in the mode of just repeating something over and over. You'll see what I'm talking about. But let's take a listen to, I'm going to give a spoiler. Let's take a listen to about to be Deputy Chief Fisher, because he's coming up to speak for just a moment.
Mr. Fisher, how are you doing?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Mr. Fisher, how many years you been in?
February will be 24 years.
24 years. And you see, we do believe in promoting from within.
One.
Yeah. It's nothing better for morale when you promote from within.
Two.
So glad to see that we're promoting from within.
Three.
Anybody have anything they would like to say to Mr. Fisher?
I'm just hoping somebody chips in and explains that we're promoting from within, because that may not be clear. We're promoting from within. It's so good to be promoting from within. We like promoting from within. What we need to do is promote from within, because when you promote from within, it's good for everybody to see how you're promoting from within. Thank you for wasting valuable seconds of our lifespan belaboring the point. That, by the way, that speech pattern, when you hear that kind of thing going on, you're hearing it on the presidential trail right now, too, by the way. But when you hear that type of speech pattern, that is someone who doesn't have a lot of content to work with, in my opinion. They don't know what else to say, but they want to sound smart and engaged and involved. So they just repeat themselves over and over using the same exact words, the same exact way. In broadcasting, again, I've been doing this for a minute. When Marconi was putting the first radio together, he asked me to hand him the screwdriver. I go back, as you know. We've talked about this before. That's called a crutch. When you're speaking, that's a crutch. The same kind of little phrase, the same way of saying things with the same words that you just use over and over and over. Not talking about a topic, talking about specific words like promoting from within, promoting from within, promoting from within. Where crutches come from is you settle in your brain, because I've had plenty over the years, you settle in your brain on the idea that that's a good thing to say, and it gets internalized, and it burrows down into your gray matter, and it's just there waiting and lurking for when you have a second, you need to say something, you need to keep the noise going, but you don't know what to say, and that just comes out. You don't even think about it. You don't realize you're doing it. Same thing here, I'm sure. And it makes you feel horrible when it gets pointed out to you, hey, do you realize just how often you say macaroni and cheese or whatever it might be? And then you start listening to yourself and you realize, holy cow, I say that every sentence. Why am I doing that? Well, because you're trying to fill time. You're trying to make noise and remain engaged while your brain tries to come up with something else. That's part of the process going on there. Just a little peek behind the curtain. You're welcome. Anyway, the mayor, after briefly mentioning in passing that we're promoting from within multiple times over the space of 30 seconds, asked if there was any comment.
Congratulations. Thank y'all very much.
Let's get the vote in.
Will you say anything to say? I'm saying
24 years.
Okay.
Select Woman Isaac congratulated him. The mayor corrected her and said, let's get the vote in. There is a lot of intense focus and attention being paid to events at the board meetings sometimes. Have you noticed that? Oh, yeah, we haven't voted yet. Okay, well, let's do that first, and then we can congratulate him.
Okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Ayes have it. Congratulations. Do you have anything that you'd like to say?
I appreciate the opportunity y'all allowing me to serve as deputy chief, and I'll do my best. I always have.
And that's all the city of McComb asks of you, is for you to do your best.
We have a great fire department. I want to keep it that way.
Look, I want you to keep it that way too.
Yes, sir.
Okay? All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We got a great fire department. I want to keep it that way. I want you to keep it that way. That's constructive. Thank you. That's perfect. I would like to ask one question now, and I'm saving that audio, by the way, the promoting from within audio. Moving forward, because we've got coming up pretty quick here, we've got the selection of a new chief, right? I assume we'll be promoting from within, because it's important to promote from within. When you're promoting from within, you're helping to promote from within. Do you think that part of that overemphasis on that point, trying to desperately underline it and shine a light on it and make everybody aware of it, is to make up for the fact that they're not going to promote from within for a new chief? I don't know. Just curious. Oh, wait, sorry. Let me use something from the board's lexicon. I'm just asking questions. That seems to be the go-to excuse for a lot of things. So if it's that important that we repeat it over and over and over, and by the way, I would just like to point out, if that is, don't know that, but if that is the reasoning for very simple linguistic tricks like that, promoting from within, promoting from within, promoting from within. It's important to promote from within. We do indeed promote from within. Oh, so you're about to not promote from within. Is that what we're hearing? Again, you have to ask the question. But for someone to use that kind of mechanism in such a blatant, in-your-face manner. If that's what's going on there, again, we don't know. Never will know for sure. Yeah, definitely will have our suspicions. But if that's the case, that tells me that there's an insultingly low estimate of your IQ. That you won't catch that. So we'll see. We'll see how things play out moving forward. Congratulations to Captain Fisher, about to be Deputy Chief Fisher in a little over a week. Very good, and a good choice, might I say. They have one item they went into right after that we need to talk about very briefly as well.
Number 14, consider advertising for the position of city clerk for the city of McComb. Can I get a motion and second?
So moved. Second.
Was that Selectman Mullins? I got a second from Selectman Thomas. What? Okay. Discussion. None. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposers, nay. Ayes have it.
Why are they having to advertise for a new city clerk? Well, if you haven't been keeping up with the continuing story, the city clerk, Becky O'Quinn, basically is now working for the county again. They are now advertising for a new city clerk because they no longer have one. There is some discussion about whether or how Miss O'Quinn left the employ of the city. There are some messages on Facebook from people posted publicly that say it has to do with the board meeting minutes. How many times have we heard throughout the years that the board speaks through its minutes? Whatever else happens, the board speaks through its minutes. Once the board has approved the minutes, they're locked in stone. That is the official permanent record. Remember in high school and elementary school especially, when you were told that if you did something really bad, it was going to go on your permanent record? Have you ever seen your permanent record? Well, the city board has. It's called their minutes. That's their permanent record. They take a stupid vote. It's chiseled in stone for all eternity for anyone to see. They do something great. It's chiseled in stone for all eternity for anyone to see. The minutes are inviolable unless, of course, you decide you want to edit them after the board has passed them. And then when you get caught, blame somebody else who winds up going back to work for the county instead of staying with the city. I'm just relaying what I am seeing being talked about publicly. If there's truth to any of those allegations, this is beyond ridiculous. That is absolutely unforgivable. Once the minutes are approved, you don't change a period. You don't put an extra comma in anywhere. You don't go back and capitalize a word that wasn't capitalized in a typo when they were being typed up. You don't change anything. Nobody has that right once the board has approved its minutes, because the board speaks through its minutes, as we have been told over and over and over. No one has ever said the board and whatever person decides to sit quietly in a room by themselves and edit things to make sure they look right later speaks through its minutes. That's not the phrase. It's not the way it works. It doesn't work that way anywhere. Heck, I don't think they do that in Jackson. And that's saying something. So we'll see how this will continue to shake out. Don't know. We're going to have to wait and get the full scoop, if you will. But I'm just relaying something that I saw posted on Facebook by a board member. But we don't know. Now, afterward, and this is, I'm sure, is just a part, it had to have been part of it. They did go into an executive session at the end of the board meeting. I believe it was item number 17, to discuss personnel matters. You would assume this is one of them. Yeah, that's a safe assumption. Nobody knows, but that's a safe assumption that was one of them. And also, I believe Selectman Cotting actually spoke up and added that potential litigation needed to be discussed as well, which makes it just another day in the city of McComb, right? No action apparently was taken during the executive session. I do have a question, though, on the subject of executive sessions, because I think some people don't realize that executive sessions, yes, they go back, they discuss things in private, they talk in private. I believe it is state law that after a certain amount of time has passed, those minutes have to be released as well. They have to be available to the public as well from executive sessions. So it is not a vault where things go to vanish for all eternity. So it'll be interesting to see when that time limit expires on executive sessions, what was discussed in there. Because that just doesn't get to stay your personal secret forever and ever and ever. Now, you don't get the blow-by-blow. It's nobody's taking down every single word like, subtitles on a TV show. But you do get to find out what topics were discussed and what, if any, votes were taken, which is reported, of course, publicly if that happens. You never hear about that. They don't want you to know about that. Just saying. Just saying. Becky O'Quinn, by the way, was a payroll clerk and comptroller for the county, and she's going back. She had been the city clerk since February. This is October. Yet another person that didn't last a year working for the city of McComb. This is a definite pattern. And I'm sorry, at that point, it's got to be a management issue. It has to be. You look at a company, a store, selling anything, dirt, cardboard boxes, Legos, whatever. And they never have anyone that works there longer than a year, and they go through them on a regular basis. You don't think that just every single employee is bad. Everybody looks at that situation and goes, oh, I think we all know what the problem is here. It's management. That's just the way it works. So at what point do we drive a wedge into the bottom of the revolving door and just get to work and take care of business? City clerk has some important responsibilities. I assume those have just devolved down to the deputy clerks until they can fill that position. We continue on this Wednesday morning on SuperTalk, Mississippi, Pike County, right after this.
Hey, this is Kristen with Selman's coming to you with Trivia of the Week. Last week's question was, what percentage of gold is in 14 karat gold jewelry? The answer, 58.5% gold. Gold is at an all-time high right now, so come stop by if you've got any laying around that you'd like to cash in and we will buy it. This week's question is, what is the name of a square-cut gemstone or diamond? This trivia brought to you by Selman's, 1311 Delaware Avenue, McComb.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. Super Talk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all around, it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, or just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Weekday mornings at 6 after 9 on 93.5 FM, or you can catch up anytime by going to
SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave in the morning at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. Catch up and catch on. North Pike football is back. It's another exciting season of North Pike Jaguar football on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Toyota of Brookhaven, Ag Up, Exhaust Pro, Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center, Peterbilt of McComb, and Lot Furniture. It's North Pike Jaguar football on the air at 93.5 FM. Available online at SuperTalkPikeCounty.com and through your Alexa devices.
But she hears only whispers of some quiet conversation.
All right, you want a conspiracy theory? Here's one for you. You'll like this. As you know, over the weekend, former President Donald Trump cooked some fries and stuck them out a window. Worked a quick, partial, teeny tiny play shift at a McDonald's. A typical election year stunt, except of course this one made everybody go insane. On the left especially. They all lost their minds over this, which has been hysterical to watch. Well, in case you didn't hear, and the timing is what turns this into a conspiracy theory. The timing that it was announced. Because that was over the weekend that Donald Trump did his McDonald's shift. Those fries look good, by the way. But he did his shift, did his time, did his photo opportunity, whatever you want to call it. We all know what it was. The fact that some people like to pretend that anybody thought he was actually hiring on to work at McDonald's is ridiculous. Well, I got to do something, right? Yesterday, it was announced that dozens of people across the United States have contracted E. coli from McDonald's Quarter Pounders. I'm sorry, that is awfully convenient timing, especially when you realize that the first confirmed infection happened a month ago on September 27th. There was a huge uptick on October 10th in Colorado in cases. Not a word. That was 2 weeks ago. Tomorrow will be 2 weeks since that big surge in cases. No one said a word, wasn't mentioned, wasn't brought up. McDonald's just, they think it was probably the slivered onions. It only happened in 10 states. Not here. Nowhere even close to here. Not even a border state of Mississippi. So this has nothing to do with us. And right now we're seeing a lot of different food-related problems around the country. They think the slivered onions they got from one provider in that region Something went wrong in the process and they became contaminated. Well, they've stopped using those onions. They've pulled quarter pounders off the menu in those 10 states so that it won't happen anymore and they can stop it. 49 people from those 10 states have fallen ill with E. coli, 27 of them in Colorado. But again, it's the timing that makes it kind of suspicious to me. Is this somebody's idea of punishing McDonald's for allowing Donald Trump to cook French fries over the weekend? You can't 100% say no. There is no way to say, oh, no, that's not it, Dave. Because again, I want you to remember, this started at the end of September. The very first infection was reported September 27th. The big surge in Colorado that led them to having half of the problems here happened on October 10th. Today is October 23rd. So you're telling me that just coincidentally, it's normally a month before the CDC notifies you that there's an E. coli outbreak from food at a restaurant chain. Yeah, well, we just not getting around to it. No, I personally, I think it's punishment to McDonald's. Their share price dropped 9% in after-hours trading last night after this news was released. The CDC, the Biden administration's CDC. You'll never convince me this is not their way of punishing McDonald's for daring to allow Trump to have a moment. How dare you? Well, you know that little problem you've been having? Oh, we're just going to tell everybody about it. That's how it smells. That's what it looks like to me. I mean, if the outbreak had just fired up and was just started in the last week or so, okay, fine, fair play. It's just the way it worked out. It started a month ago. The big surge happened 2 weeks ago. And coincidentally, we decide to release this and tell everybody about it just 2 or 3 days after Donald Trump has a big viral moment at a McDonald's restaurant. I'm not buying it. I'm sorry, I am far too cynical and suspicious at this point in my life. That's not a coincidence. That's payback. But if that is true, that tells you who you're dealing with. That tells you the kind of mindset that is in place. Because, number one, it wasn't the chain. It was a local franchisee, locally owned store that allowed Donald Trump to come in and do that. It wasn't the entire chain. It wasn't in any of the states where this happened. This was already going on. This was unrelated, obviously, and something that was happening. McDonald's issued a statement yesterday after this was revealed. They hadn't said anything up until now because they were just very wisely, I think, quietly taking care of it. I'm sorry, if you've got something you're selling that is getting people sick, you pull it off the shelves. You no longer sell it. Like, no, we're not gonna let people get sick off of this. That's responsible. That's the way to handle it. Good job. Until somebody at the CDC decides, well, in light of events over the weekend, we must inform everyone just how bad McDonald's can be. Oh, shut up. Yes, E. coli is a serious thing. It wasn't serious enough to tell us 2 weeks ago when there was a huge surge in cases. Oh, no. At that point, nobody needed to be notified. You didn't need to know it then. It wasn't important then. It was only 20 or 30 people that had gotten sick with E. coli. That didn't rise to the level of needing to let you know then. So why now? Again, I'm telling you, the timing, far too suspicious on that. And it's one of those things we'll never know 100%. But I think we know. It's good motivation because it's a great reminder of who we're dealing with and who we're trying to get away from. the mindset. We're trying to claw our way to freedom from within. Side note, by the way, World War III. Go ahead and get your t-shirts printed. According to Defense Secretary Lloyd Austin, who apparently did show up for work this week, so hey, yay. Lloyd Austin has confirmed this morning that North Korea has sent troops to Russia. South Korea immediately, as soon as this was publicly acknowledged, I'm pretty sure everybody knew it already on the national scene. I first saw reports of it last week, but it's now been confirmed that there are North Korean troops in Russia. South Korea has now come out and said they're going to send troops to Ukraine. So now we have North and South Korea getting in the middle of the Russia-Ukraine thing. Remember when I talked about, back at the beginning of the show today, the October surprise? I would really rather it not be that.
If you cried out for more, if you reached out for me, I would run to the store just to keep you.
If there's one thing we don't need in America, it's an elevation of stress levels. So let's just not go there. How about that? Yes, I know as foreign policy, it's a little weak. But come on. Again, timing. Watch for more things like this, I'm telling you. It's going to get wackier and wackier every day over the next 2 weeks. Final break. We'll shut it down on this Wednesday right after this on SuperTalk, Mississippi Pike County 93.5.
Hey, this is Kristen with Selman's coming to you with trivia of the week. Last week's question was, what percentage of gold is in 14 karat gold jewelry? The answer, 58.5% gold. Gold is at an all-time high right now, so come stop by if you've got any laying around that you'd like to cash in and we will buy it. This week's question is, what is the name of a square-cut gemstone or diamond? This trivia brought to you by Selman's, 1311 Delaware Avenue, McComb.
North Pike football is back. It's another exciting season of North Pike Jaguar football on SuperTalk Mississippi Pike County 93.5. Brought to you by Chick-fil-A, Toyota of Brookhaven, Ag Up, Exhaust Pro, Southwest Mississippi Regional Medical Center, Peterbilt of McComb, and Lot Furniture. It's North Pike Jaguar football on the air at 93.5 FM. Available online at supertalkpikecounty.com and through your Alexa devices.
Don't miss Dave in the morning. Even when you miss it the first time, you can catch it on the podcast. Missing out would be a crime. SuperTalk 93.5 is always the place to be. Want to get the podcast version? Here, my friend, is the key. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com. It's all there and it's all the rage. Spotify, Amazon, or Apple, just right there on the page. Dave in the morning, late at night, or anytime you have the crave. SuperTalkPikeCounty.com.
Dave Hughes here. Remember, every weekday morning at 9:06, it's Dave in the Morning, where we solve the problems of the world, or at least complain about them really loudly and sarcastically. And if you miss out, you can catch up with the podcast version of Dave in the Morning at supertalkpikecounty.com.
Closing time. Oh, doors and let you out into the world.
That's it. We're out of time. You know what, though? We'll do it again tomorrow morning for North Pike Thursday, my friend. See you then.
SuperTalk Mississippi Media Production.